And welcome back to the Future Agent Podcast. My name is Boo Maddox, team lead for the Perry Group here, the number one team here in Utah. Even though other people try to claim that title, we have not been able to factually prove that they are,
multiple
in fact,
yes,
the undisputed heavyweight champion. I'd put our numbers up against anybody else, even if I did this week catch the team lying and fudging their numbers by one transaction.
Bro, that's supposed to be inside it. Oh, God. All right, we're going there.
We're very excited today, though, because today's episode, we officially have our first sponsor, Liquid Death. I paid $18.99 for this can to be here today. The can was free. The water is what is expensive, so we are excited to have our first sponsor here today.
100%. My name is Tony Acosta. If you're new here, been in the industry 14 years, broker, own my own agency, and now we're here at TPG running a podcast with Boo Maddox.
Hey, the podcast has been doing numbers. I feel really good about the podcast. I mean, 18 subscribers. If you're not one of those 18 that have subscribed, please like, comment, subscribe, do all of the things. Help the boys grow the channel. Help the future agents of today get better at what they're doing, because some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today is a little bit disrespectful. I'm going to let you go ahead and kick it off since it is October.
Off the hinges. We're doing screenshots? All right, here we go. Screenshot number 1. It says, your own friends won't support you, but they will tell T-Pain happy birthday on Instagram.
That's really good.
When agents get into the business,
yeah,
they expect their friends, their family to support them, tell everybody, get excited, share their content. And maybe that happens for a very short period of time, but eventually everybody kind of moves on with their own lives. I have found that to be very discouraging for agents. So your closest people won't support you, but they'll wish Shakira a happy birthday. To that, you say what?
I think that this world, and we're actually going to talk about this. I want this to be a portion of our training clip today. I think there's too many agents that have this expectation of business. And I think that expectation has to die. The sooner that you can stop expecting business to be handed to you, just given to you because you already know somebody, it needs to die. I think there's so many agents that cash checks in their minds, and they're like, well, if this person can really wish T-Pain a happy birthday, they can make the single largest financial investment of their life with me, even though they've done nothing to deserve it, other than they maybe went to dinner with wives once or twice. What do you think?
Well, the problem is that then you start to develop negative feelings against your friends and family. I think agents need to understand that you sell a very specialized service that, let's be honest, is for most people is not required very often. So if somebody's going to buy a house every 5, 6, 7 years, there may be nobody in your circle that needs you. That doesn't mean they hate you. That doesn't mean they don't support you. That doesn't mean they think you suck. But you're not selling T-shirts. It's not something that anybody can just buy from you, even if they just want to support you. That's not how this works. To your point, it's the biggest financial decision in most people's lives. You're not going to be required for years and years and years and years. So it's up to you to give value and develop rapport over years and years and years and years, so that when your friends and family members need to purchase a property in 2032, you're the person that they reach out to. But assuming that they're going to jump in 2025 just because they're your friend is naive at best.
So true or false, most agents would sell more real estate if they took all the time that they spend lamenting about lost deals and applied that to prospecting. They would sell more houses. 100%. I think agents need to do better about that, be better about this. And I think the great ones in our business are fantastic at this. They move on quickly. They don't harbor. They don't look at that and say, I'm going to spin out for the next 3 weeks because my cousin's best friend didn't work with me. You are entitled to nobody. You are given nothing in this industry unless you work for your dad. But having said that, stop expecting deals just to be given to you. IRS?
No.
ICE?
No. All right, next.
All right, here we go. A coach isn't a cost. They are the fastest ROI you can make in your business. This comes from Productive Agent Coaching. Every top producing agent has a coach. Why? Because coaching isn't a cost. It's the fastest ROI in real estate. Now, I commented, I said, most. I sold more than almost all of these top producers without a coach. But to this, you say, is a coach a cost or is it an ROI?
Depends on the coach. And in most cases, it's a very high cost. Because, again, it goes back to the conversation that we've had ad nauseum on this podcast. What are they coaching you towards? For example, there are coaches out there.
This dude's a lender.
Okay.
This dude is a lender that wants to coach real estate agents.
That's a very expensive mic you're going to break.
God, I will break it, and I will consider this a better ROI than hiring any coach. I will break this mic, and it will be a better investment than hiring a real estate coach, especially one that is a freaking lender. God damn it.
Here's what I want you to do, Justin. Will you go back and clip 2 episodes ago when you made the case for coaches?
Okay, no, that was the wheel made me do that. That was not me. Do not put that on me.
It is clear that on the Future Agent podcast, we do not love coaches.
I will coach you for free. Go to Boom Addicts Coaching. Follow my channel. Follow Tony Acosta on Instagram. I promise you will get more tactical, real information than what these coaches are trying to sell you. If you want me to put together a handbook, I'll go put a prompt into ChatGPT. I'll say, give me a 12-step program that mirrors AA that will help real estate agents sell more houses. I'll put my logo on the bottom. I'll charge you $50 for it, and you'll get the same thing that you would have if you just followed me on Instagram.
The problem is agents don't learn this lesson. They don't learn it, and they bounce from coach to coach. You and I were talking about an agent that is hopping from coach to coach to coach, trying to find the silver bullet, trying to figure out what is it that I don't know. When if that particular agent just stopped blowing money and just doubled down on his particular skill set, he'd crush.
See, this is, I think, my opinion on coaches in general, man. I am so over this shit. I am so over seeing everybody become a life coach. I'm so over everybody becoming a therapist. I am so over everybody becoming a guru of something. Listen, your life is your own.
Thank you.
Your business is your own. Your career is your own. You expect that coach to be able to go out and coach you in what they did. Brother, what you're trying to do, be you. We don't need 50 more of that person. We need one of you. We don't need 50 more of these coaches, these gurus, these bullshitters that think that they can explain to you and charge you $1,500 a month to be them. No, I want you. I want you to be great. Real estate, I think, is so beautiful. I think real estate is fantastic because the way that you run your business is night and day different than the way I run my business, and yet we can both be successful. Why? Because we are hyper specific. We are hyper niche, and no coach told us that. No guru influenced that. Nobody came to you and said, this is what you need to be doing. You figured it out on your own, and I think that this industry would be so much more beautiful if 98% of coaches, especially the freaking lenders that are out there trying to coach people and deleting comments because they're too sissy to stand on business. I'm talking to you, Rob Audrey, if you want to get ultra specific here. You want to delete comments because you can't stand on business. How are you supposed to coach people to stand on business when you yourself cannot stand on business? Y'all, you don't need these fake gurus, these fake mentors. Go and put that money into yourself, and I promise you the industry will reward you for that.
If you took $1,500 a month and actually put it into thoughtful marketing, we talk about lead costs, customer acquisition costs all the time. That's one of the massive things that I've learned from you and on this team. It's what is the cost per lead? How do you look at that? Is that good? But if you took those thousands of dollars and just poured them into a good resource, you would produce much more. So agents need to learn this lesson. It could even be a bad resource,
Tony. It could even be a bad resource. You could do it for 3 months in a row and light $4,500 on fire and nothing. You get nothing out of it. You get nothing back on that $4,500 that you spent. And my argument would be you are still further ahead than if you gave that $4,500 to a coach.
100%. So agents, learn this lesson. Learn this lesson. And coaches, the only acceptable route is the tactical skill set. The second you step away from that, the second you start talking about mindset and relationships and physical fitness,
frequency,
and all that, you're done. It's over. It's over.
I have not had a crash out on camera in a long time. Sorry, Justin. I didn't mean to move your mic here.
We will have new mics next time. Here we go. Next one. You ready? Realtors.
Is it about coaching?
No.
Okay, yeah, we can probably get through this one.
Realtors, if you're on a team, chances are you're being used, not supported. Strong statement.
I made more money than that guy. I don't even know who posted it. I bet you I've made more money selling real estate than that guy. I will always go back to this argument. That's what I was just arguing with the lender's coach that's trying to coach real estate.
So if you're on a team.
So his response to me, I think fit in really well with this. I said, I sold more than almost all of these top producers without a coach. He said, that's awesome. Not hard to do when you work for a builder and or a team with a $100,000 a month marketing budget. We teach people how to not only make money, but keep most of it.
keep most of it. But
So
pay me
your
$2,000 a month.
So your argument is that it's easy if you work for a team that has a $100,000 a month marketing budget or a builder. I agree that is easier, which is why my theory and my argument is that you should be joining a team.
Yes.
You will.
He gave you the argument.
He gave me the argument. It's easier if you join a team.
Yes. It's easier if you join a team.
Did you hear what you just said? Did you hear what you just said? These are your coaches, people.
And
did you hear what you just said? You're right. It is easier if you join a team. Why? Because that team will help you scale. That team will help you do more transactions. The average agent in Utah, let's do some quick math. I wish I had my whiteboard. The average agent in Utah, 2 transactions last year. If they were making 100% of that, that is X amount of dollars. The average agent on the Perry Group, 8 transactions, 8.5 transactions. Even on a 50-50 split, you still made double than that guy. You still made double.
So are you being used? Because here's where agents annoy me. If you work at Target, are you being used?
To me, this is like dating a total baddie, and then someone's like, "Oh, you're being used." Am I? Oh, am I?
If you have a normal job, are you being used? Justin, are you being used?
Justin, do you feel used?
Is everybody being used when you go out and you work?
Mic.
Are you being used? I mean, what does that even mean? Are you being used, not supported? After the coaching, it's the biggest mistake agents make. The idea that they will be more successful alone on an island wanting to succeed. Believing that if I go buy a burrito right now at Rancheritos, which you should do, by the way, and that's a $10 burrito, that the owner of said Rancheritos is going to get a $10 deposit in their bank account. It doesn't exist. There's not a business on earth that operates this way. Agents do not understand this. So they say, oh, if I'm going on a team and now I get $10 and now I'm only getting 6.5 back, I'm being used, I'm getting screwed. Now, there's 2 elements to this. There are teams that are screwing agents that don't give any support. So there's some element of truth to that. But the blanket statement that every team is using agents is naive at best.
Well, I think that we need to get a little bit of clarity here because there is a difference amongst teams. Not all teams are created equally. Team is an incredibly generic label that gets placed on any group of people within real estate. It's almost like in the scriptures where they say where 2 or more are gathered, there will I also be. Okay. And they consider that church. This
is not a religious podcast. We got to change the tag.
Put an asterisk by it.
Spiritual.
No, but I think in the real estate agent community, the exact same thing is happening. They're looking at it and saying, okay, where 2 or more are gathered, there is a team. Right. And when you and I say go and join a team, I think what we mean is a team that has fundamental systems, fundamental beliefs, and a core structure that allows agents to go out and produce. Not, hey, this agent's doing really well. They're selling 40 houses a year. Now you're their showing assistant and you're on their team. That's not the same thing. There's a big delineation here between what the Perry Group is and what some of these other teams are.
So let's talk about that difference because I agree 100%. And I've gotten up in front of the entire team and said, are we a team or are we a group of individuals that just happen to work in the same building? So what are some of those differences? You've mentioned this in the past. This is a concept that I actually learned from you. The difference between a lead, what is a lead, and what is a list. So teams will say, oh, we'll give you leads.
We'll provide you leads.
I've had 7 conversations over the last 2 weeks with agents that said they were on a team that provided them leads, and they weren't leads, they were what?
They were a list. They were a list of Google PPC people that hovered over a banner for longer than 3 seconds. Their information was scraped from them by Palantir, then was put on a list, sold back to the real estate agent team lead. That real estate agent team lead then took a list of people that had no idea that what they even signed up for, gave it to their people on their team and said, hey, call these people. And if somehow you are good enough to get one of these people to actually raise their hand and buy a house, if you are Jordan Belfort himself on the phones cold calling these people,
I want 60%.
I want 60% because I provided you this lead.
That's right.
That is not the same as what the Perry Group is providing.
So what's the difference?
What we are providing is somebody calling you willfully, knowingly, and intentionally calling and saying, hey, Tony, my name is John. I would like to go and see this house today at 3:30. Can you be my agent and let me see this house today?
Totally different.
Same price.
Totally different.
Same price, though.
Same price.
It's the same price. And the difference is I have 8 to 10 of those a month for you. Good luck getting 8 to 10 people a month off of this list to raise their hand and say, I want to go and see a house today.
And the issue is they'll give you the list and not even give you the skill set of, okay, what does the conversation sound like? What could be some of the possible objections? What is the context to where this person was? It's literally, here is a list. So that is number one. And number two that I think is critical. A team has the ability to learn from the experiences of others.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that. A lot of groups are way too insecure where if so-and-so makes a mistake, that cannot be told to the team. So what we've tried to build is a culture where instead of ridiculing mistakes, we use it as these learning opportunities with our segment, Situational football. So situational football is a segment that I started back when I was a broker in 2017. And the pitch is this. Things happen every single day with contracts, deals, negotiations, offers. We take that info, we eliminate the agent's name, we eliminate it, whatever, but we share it with the team and we dissect it and we say, hey, this is the scenario. What needs to happen? What should we do? What is the mistake? What happened? How do we improve? In front of everybody. That's the only way that you're going to be able to fast track your growth. Otherwise, you have to wait until you make the same mistake to be able to learn. So there's two ways to learn. People forget this. You can learn from experience, which is what most people do. And they make mistakes and they have to learn from experience. It's the only way that they can learn. Or you can learn from study. Very few people know how to learn from study. They have to learn from experience, and that is both slow and painful.
Well, even on a team, my argument is going to be that you are going to get, if you are one of those people that has to learn from experience, you are going to get that experience quicker here than anywhere else.
That's right.
Which brings me to point number 2. Let's see what we're working with here. Any tips for a newly licensed agent? I hear things like it's not worth getting into this career at this time. I believe I found a broker that won't charge too money in fees.
He's already screwed.
I'd love to know more. Thank you. Her name is Kylie.
Kylie's already screwed. Because
that's not very nice.
Yep, she's already done. It's over.
Okay.
Because she's leading with, I found somebody that will charge as little as possible.
Yeah.
So when you go out to the market intuitively looking for Dollar Tree, you're going to find Dollar Tree. It is what it is. If you're looking for the cheapest option, you're dead on arrival. Instead, it should be, where can I have the best resources? Okay, doesn't matter how much you pay. Doesn't matter how much you pay. But if you're already looking for a bargain, you're going to be one of those hypocritical agents that gets into this looking for a deal. And then when a seller wants to charge less commission or wants to pay less commission, they get all up in their feelings.
They're going to do the opposite.
They're going to do the opposite.
Yeah.
So don't be a hypocrite.
Okay, so it's too late for Kylie to go there. At this point, she's already signed on with a discount brokerage. I don't know what we're going to call it. We're going to call it discount brokerage RS. Now what? Now what advice do you have for Kylie in year 1?
If you're on a team.
Sounds like she's not.
If you're solo, that's tough. It's really, really difficult. You have to do a lot of study. You have to do a lot of learning. But the issue is you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know. So you're going to go out. You're going to start to try to market. You're going to find a bunch of YouTube videos. You're going to try to educate yourself. Even if you have the best of intentions, you're going to try. But you don't know what you don't know. So if you arrive at said brokerage and there is not these things that we've been talking about, leave. Leave, leave, leave. There is nothing wrong with trial and error. There's nothing wrong with swapping jerseys. Cristiano Ronaldo's had 7 jerseys. LeBron's had 7 jerseys. It's fine. That shouldn't make you insecure, and don't allow anybody else, none of these team leaders, to make you feel insecure or lock you into long-term contracts. You might have to go to 1, 2, 3 different spots to find what you're actually needing. That is perfectly okay. Swap jerseys, it's fine.
Yeah, I think the only piece of advice I'd give you is I think agents need to be better at saying no earlier on in their career. Agents are so desperate, just so desperate for that first deal, and I completely understand. This is not me being unsympathetic to that. A little bit. Yeah, I understand that. I understand the feeling though. And so my advice to you would be start saying no to business that you don't feel like aligns to you. I know what you're going to do in the beginning. You're going to go do this mobile home lead, then you're going to go do this luxury lead, then you're going to go do this lead 3 hours away from you, then you're going to do this. Stop with that. Shrink up what you think your area is going to be. Become as nuanced as possible, as quickly as possible, and I think you'll win.
100%. So on to our training piece. I'm excited about this one because I want to get your vantage point on this. Our team is very unique in the sense that we essentially have 2 groups. It doesn't feel this way in the day-to-day, but we have some older agents that have ran other businesses, they've had other jobs, they've done other things in life, and they come in and they crush. But there's also this other little cohort of agents that are very young, even 19, 20, 21, younger than 25. They haven't run businesses before. They don't have any experience in terms of building stuff, yet they are crushing. I want to get your vantage point on that group. What is it that makes these young agents, the Savannah Romneys, the Sadie Christiansens, the Tyler Stubbs, all of these young agents, the Logan Lamones, what makes them successful when you can make every argument that they shouldn't be successful yet?
Oh, it's kind of a loaded question. I think that there's a lot that goes into it. I think first and foremost, I do think that we train harder, better. Like I'm going to start putting out more content to the consumers here in Utah County about how if you work with a Perry Group agent, they will be better trained, better equipped, better handled, with better support than every other team or brokerage in the state. I'm going to start putting out content like that because I genuinely believe that. I think the most underrated thing right now is if you look for the last couple of years, the average demographic has been older than all of these people, both agents. The average real estate agent in the United States is a 62-year-old white woman at this point. Is that the average demographic of clients? I think for the last 10, 20, 30 years, it was. The average first-time home buyer was almost 40 years old. They are starting to get older and older in age, and you have this big generation of people that were older, but I think what's quickly coming behind them is this Gen Z group of kids. These people that are 18 to 24 years old that feel like the system is against them, that feels like the system is broken, that feels like they are never going to be able to own a home, that feels like inflation has outpaced them, that feels like there is this giant conspiracy theory from the top 1% to tie up all of the wealth that would allow these young people to go in and buy a house. And then you have these young trailblazing agents, these 18, 19, 20, 22, 23-year-old real estate agents that are coming in and absolutely crushing it with that demographic. So I think first things first is our training. Second things second, it is that there is just a massive demographic of people that age. And I think that what these people are doing is that they are crushing social media and getting in front of that demographic at a rate higher than any other generation previously.
Yeah, and for me, it's been a really interesting experiment because you and I were on opposite ends of the football field in this sense. I've always loved the older agent because I can give the older agent the real estate skill set, and they have the people skills. We've seen that. They have the network. They have the database. It's just
I would say that these older agents that we're working with for brand new leads, like on our Zillow Flex program, these older agents I think are converting sooner and at a higher rate than our younger agents are.
That's right. And you were on the other end of saying I love having new agents because they don't have any preconceived notions. They don't have any bad habits. I can basically build them up from the ground up. So for me, it's been a really interesting experience seeing that dichotomy between the older agents and the newer. Now, what I would say, the way I see this is I see it similar to the advertising industry.
Yeah.
Historically, the advertising industry was old people, right? It was TV stations, radio people that had been on the radio for 40 years. It was the people that ran advertising were older folks. With the advent of social media, now you have a bunch of young creators. You got Justin here, you've got Tingy, it's gotten much, much, much younger, the people that do content, that do media, that do advertising. I see, in a way, real estate is going to become something similar, where the younger demographic are the ones that are going to take the bulk of the pie because they have that people skills. This stuff is natural to them. So I think as time goes on, similar to advertising that scaled much younger, now you have a bunch of kids that crush at it. I think real estate is on that same trajectory.
Yeah, this is maybe a warning from the mountaintops. As somebody that has both sides of this teeter-totter that we're trying to balance as a team in this office between the older and the younger, I think that real estate agents, I'll give you guys your flowers. Over the last couple of years, I would say there's been this massive push and adoption of social media content. Almost every single agent at this point, if they get a listing, they'll put a listing video up. Hi, welcome to 123 Training Street. We are 5 minutes from this, 3 minutes from this. Let's take a look.
You've done this before.
Every agent has done that before, I would say. Every agent, for the most part, can go out and put that listing video together. So golf clap for you, you older agent, you 45, 50-year-old agent that's doing your best to put it out on Facebook.
Love it.
What I am here to tell you is that you have 1 or 2 years left. You have 1 or 2 years left before this younger generation, in my opinion, completely takes over the social media marketing game. I am telling you, I am watching these young kids closely. I am watching what they are doing. I am seeing the amount of engagement. I am seeing how they're getting that engagement. I'm seeing where that engagement is coming from. And I am telling you, you are about to get steamrolled. you are about to get obliterated. I mean, I just sat down with Savannah. She's 19 years old, brand new agent in the community, has generated 100,000 views in the last 3 weeks on Instagram alone.
That's going to turn to deals.
From eventually. Not one single listing video. Not one single listing video. 55. I literally reviewed the analytics with her 30 seconds before I walked into our studio.
He was late, by the way.
I was late, by the way. 55% of those views, what age demographic?
Young.
18 to 24 years old. And so I am telling you that right now your listing video, your hi, welcome to 123 Main Street, is going to work for another year. It'll help you brand with the older generation. But if your goal is to work with the younger demographic, you are going to have to be so much better at marketing. You have no idea what's coming for you.
So I agree. I think it's doom and gloom for the older generation if they don't quickly learn the skill set.
I think it's doom and gloom for you and I if we don't constantly revamp our skill set. We're 32. I'm 32. You're 34.
Yes.
We're old as hell compared to some of these kids that are coming in. And so if we are not doing something to adjust to this rising generation, this 18 to 24-year-old generation, their fears are entirely different.
Totally different.
What they are thinking, the conversations that Savannah is going and having on UVU's campus about what would it take for you to go and buy a house should be terrifying to you. No longer is it a dream. It is now a nightmare. It is now a nightmare. If you are 20 years old to try to buy a house is no longer the American dream. It is the American nightmare. And am I going to be able to wake up and escape this? Am I going to be able to buy a house? And it is terrifying. And if you are not adjusting your marketing to help soothe some of that and to be a salve for some of that, you are going to miss this mark.
But here's the thing. Most agents will never run the experiment to try to figure out, this was part of my conversation with Savannah, of, okay, you need to get out there. If you say, this goes to niche marketing, if you want to sell to the younger demographic, you need to get out there and figure out what their fears are, figure out what they need, figure out what their questions are. If you don't ever run that experiment, you don't know.
Nope.
And I think that what you mentioned is spot on. So if it's no longer the American dream, it's now the American nightmare, your messaging has to change. What you share has to change. The information, how you package it, how you share it has to change. So if you keep pushing the American dream, and when everybody sees that, they roll their eyes and they're like, no, because you don't get it.
Yeah.
It's not going to land.
It's not going to land, and you're not going to be able to actually help facilitate home ownership in the next generation. The way that you pitched as a boomer, the way that you pitched your generation was, this is the American dream. You paid $190 for this house on 5,000 square feet and an acre lot, and now it's worth $1.2 million. Look at all the cool things you can go and do with it. That is the biggest middle finger to this up and coming Gen Z 18 to 24-year-old generation.
Well, because back then
it was a dream.
Was a no-brainer.
Back then it was a dream. Back then it was the American dream to go and buy a house. It was the smartest decision that you can make.
Now it is no longer a no-brainer.
Right now in Utah, the average rent is almost 80% lower than the mortgage. A mortgage right now, I think it's 66%. A mortgage is 66% more expensive than renting a home of equal or less value.
So you have to be able to make the case that that is a good idea.
Well, and not only do you have to make the case, you have to have a legitimate strategy about how you're going to afford this.
Yes.
How are you going to save up when inflation is outpaced minimum wage by 10 to 1? How are you going to adjust to this? How are you going to adjust to this when interest rates are now 5 times more expensive than they were, especially when you look at the average home price is almost 300% more expensive than it was in 1999? How are you going to strategize around this? How are you going to build marketing? Not only, getting the views is one thing, but how are you going to build a strategy to help these people actually get into a home? That's where you're going to miss the market, and that's where you're going to lose to these younger agents.
That's the game. So older agents, I know it sounds a little bit doom and gloom, but I think that we all need to your point, and we'll close with this, sharpen your saw. You need to get those skills. You need to stop being insecure. You need to stop overthinking it. You need to get in these rooms with these folks, understand what is happening, and become a good player. Become a good player. Stop thinking, I'm too old, this sucks. If you have any inkling of that opinion, you are going to lose.
Well, and you have 2 options at this point. Number 1, go and hire a real estate coach. They'll give you the same advice for $1,500 dollars a month, or tune in every single week to the Future Agent podcast, where we give all of this information away for free because we're sponsored by Liquid Death. We'll see y'all next week, and I'll try not to crash out next week.